Is it permissible to attend gatherings of knowledge or remembrance where there's no physical barrier in between genders?
Is it permissible to attend gatherings of learning where there is no physical barrier between the men and the women? There are two types of rulings in the Sharia. There's some rulings that are intrinsically obligatory or intrinsically prohibited. There is something that's in itself incumbent or in itself impermissible. Right? So with respect to gender relations, for example, there's some things that are in of themselves not permissible, such as for an unrelated man and an unrelated woman to be alone in a room or similar with no third party present or nearby. So that's in itself impermissible. Direct physical contact between an unrelated man and woman is in itself impermissible. Looking with desire at someone of the opposite sex who's not your spouse is directly impermissible. And then there's things that are impermissible because they would lead to the impermissible, right? Insofar as they lead to the impermissible. So the basis of interaction with the opposite sex is that there's caution that is called for, because we recognize the reality of there being desire in actual or potential between men and women. And that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created male and female, that He has placed inclination within us for them. So the basis of gender interaction is caution and restraint. Not because it is haram to interact with the opposite sex, but to be cautious about it. And given the reality of potential harm through falling into the impermissible, that one avoids interaction unless there's clear need or benefit. Unless there's need or benefit, such as learning, such as business dealings, other situations. As long as it's done in a manner, so when there's need or benefit in the interaction, to the extent of the interaction, there's nothing wrong with it, as long as it's done upholding Islamic etiquette, proper manners of that. So, then what about a barrier? A barrier, if it facilitates the reduction of unnecessary interaction, is a means to an end, which is there being dignified restraint in interaction. How that dignified restraint in interaction is manifest in different circumstances may differ. Is it an absolute rule? No, it's not an absolute rule. Has it been one way of facilitating that dignified restraint? Yes, it has been in many cultures, and some it hasn't. Right? So, for that, one would do well to consult, local teachers, etc., about what would be suitable in one's circumstances. One should have teachers whom one trusts regarding that. And in different contexts, they may be, and different audiences, there may be different levels of expectations as well. So it's not an absolute requirement to have a barrier. Here at the Hub, we do have a barrier, but I will personally give, like if I'm teaching on a university campus, etc., and there is reasonable separation between the men and the women, etc., but the absence of a barrier does not in itself make the gathering impermissible.